Let me tell you, you never really pay attention to the folks mopping the floors until the day you see them speaking Mandarin, Spanish, and French in the same breath like they're switching radio stations. You know what I mean? That's exactly what happened the morning everything shifted at Hallberg International. The lobby was alive with that Monday morning rush high heels clacking. Folks half awake clutching coffee, eyes glued to screens like the world might end if they looked up. And there I was, just another face in the crowd, until I heard a voice cut through the chaos, sharp and clear, rolling out perfect Mandarin like it was nothing. I froze, couldn't help myself. Mandarin in Texas isn't exactly an everyday thing, especially not echoing from a woman in a burgundy janitor's uniform, standing by the touchscreen directory, guiding an older gentleman who looked more lost than a tourist at Times Square. She smiled, patient, confident, then spun around and started chatting in Spanish with a delivery guy holding a clipboard. Didn't miss a beat, switched to French to direct a vendor fumbling with mislabeled boxes, and the guy just blinked like he'd seen magic. I swear, in that moment, the whole rhythm of the building shifted. Now, I'm Jonathan Kellerman, CEO of this circus, and I've spent decades hiring translators, building teams from Shanghai to Sao Paulo, but never expected the most fluent person in the building to be mopping our floors. I'd seen her before, always polite, always quiet, the kind of person you pass 100 times without ever learning her name. But now I had to know, so I stepped forward, tried to keep my curiosity in check. "Excuse me," I said. "That was Mandarin, right?" She nodded, totally unruffled, told me she also spoke Spanish, French, Portuguese, German, Arabic, Italian, Swahili, and even Red Latin for fun. 9 languages. 9. I couldn't help but stare. Her name was Denise Atwater. I asked if she'd join me in my office for a chat. She hesitated. You could see she wasn't used to being noticed, much less invited upstairs. But she agreed, and on that elevator ride, she said, "I've worked here for 13 years. Never thought I'd be invited up." I told her things can change quick, but honestly, I had no idea how true that would turn out to be. Her story hit me like a brick. Born in Ohio, raised by parents who worked their fingers to the bone. Dad was a pipe fitter, mom a nurse's aide. She got in a full ride to Kent State for linguistics, but life threw her curveballs. Her mom got sick, then her dad passed away. Then she had a Babino partner, no money, so she worked wherever she could. Landed here because the night shifts let her take care of her kid. And all that time, she never stopped learning borrowed textbooks, read newspapers in 5 languages, just to stay sharp. "It's the only thing I do that makes me feel like I still matter," she said. No bitterness, just plain truth. Most folks never even asked. I really listened for once. Then I asked if she'd ever thought about doing anything else, and she just shrugged. "It's hard to dream when your rent's due." Man, that stuck with me. I went through the rest of my day, but her story kept circling in my head. Around 4 p.m., I found her in the service hallway restocking supplies, and I asked for a favor. A Portuguese translator had canceled last minute, and we had a group from Sao Paulo upstairs, totally lost. Denise just smiled, said she'd handle it, and she did. She walked into that meeting, and the room transformed suddenly. Everyone was relaxed, laughing, making deals. She wasn't just translating, she was connecting people. Afterwards, I asked if she'd ever done professional translation. She shook her head. Never had the chance, always too busy surviving. Her daughter was grown now, a nurse out in Tempe. Paid her own way, stubborn like her mama. For a second, it felt like we were just 2 people, not CEO and janitor. Before she went back to work, she told me, "I didn't do anything special today." I told her, that's not how it looked to me. And I meant it. That night, I sat in my car thinking about how we're always talking about diversity, searching for talent everywhere, but under our own noses. Next morning, Denise's supervisor came looking for her, said I wanted to see her again. She thought she was in trouble, but when she came up, I told her the truth. I wanted to create a new position, cultural liaison for international affairs. She'd speak the languages, bridge the gaps, do what nobody else here could do. She looked at me, suspicious, asked if I was sure. I told her, this isn't charity. It's overdue recognition. She shook my hand, and right then, I knew things were about to get interesting. Word spread fast. Some folks cheered, Some grumbled, especially the ones who thought promotions should only go to people with degrees and fancy titles. Denise could feel its side eyes, the whispers. But she showed up, did her job, and outperformed every expectation. She corrected mistakes in old contracts, rebuilt trust with clients who'd been on the fence for years, and never acted like she was better than anyone. Just worked, steady and sure. But not everyone was on board. One afternoon, she got called to a meeting with Eleanor Craig, a board member who could freeze a room with her stare. Eleanor grilled Denise about her lack of credentials, her background as a janitor. Denise just smiled, laid out everything she'd already fixed, and said, "I don't need to be liked, but I do need to be useful." Even Eleanor had to pause at that. Outside, Denise called her daughter, just to hear her voice, then sat quietly, taking in everything. The next day, she led a team call in German, coached a nervous intern, and found a note on her door, "We see you." No name, just proof that what she was doing mattered. And Denise wasn't just translating, she was changing the culture. People started coming to her for advice, not just about language, but how to connect, how to listen. She helped launch a new internal training program, her idea, so other folks working behind the scenes could have their shot. She spoke at a leadership summit and told her story, plain and honest. "I was never just a janitor. I was fluent. I was capable. I was ready. But nobody ever looked long enough to see it." That hit home for a lot of people. One kid said, "My mom's a housekeeper. She speaks 5 languages." Denise smiled and told him, "Don't ever be ashamed of where you come from. The only thing to be ashamed of is staying blind to brilliance." She hung her old badge in her drawer, not to forget, but to remind herself how far she'd come. And yeah, she faced backlash. People wondered if she deserved it, if it was just for show, but Denise kept going, proving every day that talent doesn't have a dress code and intelligence doesn't need permission. She didn't change who she was to fit the role, she made the role fit her. So here's what I'm saying. Never assume you know someone's worth by what they wear or where they stand. Brilliance can mop a floor or lead a boardroom sometimes in the same week. If you've ever felt invisible, keep going. The right person will see you, and when they do, take that seat at the table, maybe even bring a few more chairs with you. So what do you think? Does talent always rise? Or does it need a push? Would you trust a company that gives a janitor a shot? Or does it all just sound too good to be true? Let me know your take, because I'm betting this debate is far from over.